Okay. Am I live? Is this working? Can I see? It says it's live, it looks like. Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. What happens when I come here? Is this thing now live? Yes! Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. So, Kevin, I need to give you an apology. You were the first one that said I was late. I'm so, so sorry. Um, I for real was standing here talking for like 40 minutes, okay? So, I like saying that my stuff. Wait, hold on. Am I in the right view? I'm on the right view. Okay, good. I like saying that my stuff is, what do you call it? Live, right? But like, truth be told, I actually did like practice all this because I did talk about all this stuff, right? Hold on. Where did I go? Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. Perfect. So we're gonna talk about the indices. That's what I normally do. From there are four tickers I really want to talk about: SOFI, MSTR, NVDA, and AFRM. All right. You can see it here, and I'm about to start. Oh man, the indices look good. Okay, clearly when I talk about the indices, if you've watched my videos before, I'm talking about three of them. I'm talking about the S&P 500, I'm talking about the Dow Jones DJ30, Dow Jones Industrial, and I'm talking about the NASDAQ. Okay, and I quickly flashed those two, but the theme is we're over all five moving averages. For the most part, we're a positive MACD, and the RSIs are still so healthy. All right, so taking it a step back, let's start at the S&P 500. That is where I like to start, right? Look at this thing. On the last live I made, which was only a couple days ago, one thing I said was, this thing looks nice, and hey, I'm here to believe it's going to look good until it tells me otherwise, right? This now looks better. This now looks stronger, and oh man, that's a lovely thing, okay? When the indices are good, that means the ocean is calm. Oh, start going in the deep end. You know what I mean? So we see a lovely over all five moving averages on the daily. We see a lovely all five moving averages, right? We are over them all on the daily. We're over them all on the weekly. Oh man, there's nothing more that you can. I don't even know. I don't even look at the month. But where's the month? Even the monthly is over all five moving averages, right? So maybe the monthly's a little high at that 77, but hey, I'll be out. Look at this thing, right? It wasn't even that long ago. We were at 87, 85. We were just living up there, right? So S&P 500, I liked it on the last one. I love it even more on this one, all right? The next one I do want to look at is the Dow Jones, because the Dow Jones is as good as the S&P 500, all right? I'm zooming out. I'm zooming out. You can see we are at all-time highs with the Dow Jones. I'm zooming out. We are at all-time highs with the S&P 500. So Dow Jones and S&P 500 are doing a little better. I'll get to NASDAQ shortly. But again, over all five moving averages, nice MACD, very healthy RSI. That's the daily. Look at the weekly, over all five moving averages. Lovely MACD, healthy RSI. I love it, right? Now we look at the NASDAQ. And again, when I said that those two looked better, believe me, this still looks good. Over all five moving averages, nice MACD, nice RSI. The difference is we haven't quite gotten back up to all-time highs yet. Let's be honest though, when two of the three are pushing all-time highs, while you're talking about all three of them are over all five moving averages, come on now, right? I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Daily looks good. Weekly again looks good over all the moving averages, right? So one more time, I say this often, when the indices look good, all the little random tickers that we like to trade should look fantastic, right? The waves are not that big. The ocean is calm. You should be able to get on a boat and start going out a little bit, right? And the stocks I'm going to cover, I'm not going to necessarily say they're the safest, right? There's absolutely no such thing as safe, but I'm going to cover NVIDIA. Let's be honest. NVIDIA is probably a 50-foot tanker boat, right? And that was probably a dumb analogy. I don't really know boats that well, but like, yeah, the stronger the stock, when the indices look this strong, oh, it's a lovely thing. On the flip side, hey, risk and reward, now is maybe a decent time to consider some risk, right? Again, we're looking at the NASDAQ right now. We started with the S&P 500. When the indices are this good, when all three of the indices are this good, there's a little bit of comfort. And again, what I like is the weekly is looking good as well. So that in the back of my head's making me think, oh, we should still have at least a couple good weeks, right? This is only a 60. I think all of them were roughly around 60 on the weekly RSI. This one's at 70, but definitely not at 80. And hey, look, we were literally at 96, 95, 94. If you're looking in the box over there, I'm just moving weeks. 90, we were living in the 90s. So hey, even that 70 is not that like, you know, concerning, I guess, with comp. And then when we come to NASDAQ, again, on the weekly, this one's only 49, right? So I think the fact that that's even a lower RSI helps me believe that, yeah, the weeklies are going to be good and we'll probably smash that all-time high and get to them, all right? So baseline need number one, indices are good, right? And that alone brings a smile to my face, all right? So I think that's all I'm going to talk about for the indices. Give me a second. How long have I been talking for? Can I see how long this thing is? Oh my God, I'm so bad. Sorry to say, oh my gosh. I try not to curse that much. Okay, here we go. 6:30. 6:30 is where I'll break this. Okay, so this 4 set of stocks, I'll be honest, I really want to talk about. If there is anything that you want to talk about, please, please, please don't hesitate, right? You know, this goes, wait, yep, this is here. Hold on, sorry, I lost the chat. I gotta figure out how to do this cleaner. Throw them in the chat. All right, the 4 I wanna look at are SOFI, MSTR, NVDA, and AFRM. These are not in any order, okay? But just look at SOFI. Look, if you've watched my past SOFI videos, I've been hating on SOFI since this first earnings pop and dump. All right, I lost some money right here. I got really mad at it, and really, it's not like I had an emotional like I'm mad, so I'm gonna hate on it. This thing was struggling with the 50 moving average for a very, very, very long time. All right, all of a sudden things are getting a little different. Okay, and more than anything, we're over all 5 moving averages. We're starting to break resistances. Look at the divergence on that MACD and the RSI. RSI is still a healthy 73. SOFI is looking really good, all right? Again, I talked about this for like 30 something minutes, so like a lot of this isn't like that fresh, right? But here's the main point that is actually going to get echoed across what is it called? Across these 4. You can see the 50 moving, it's a resistance, it's a resistance, it's a resistance, it's a resistance. It's a resistance we've gotten over, but we failed, all right? It's a resistance we've gotten over and then used as a support before we took off and ran, okay? The same thing happens on the 200. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Take off, no confirm, fail. Resistance, take off. Bounce as support, and go, all right? When a resistance becomes a support, oh my goodness, amazing things will happen, all right? That's essentially the baseline of the 8 moving average, right? I think this is even a good example of it. Can't get over the 8, can't get over the 8, can't get over the 8, can't go to the, like, you fail lines until all of a sudden you just ride them up and they're your best friends, right? I know it sounds silly, but like that is a catchphrase for a reason, right? All of a sudden now I'm seeing a golden cross on that 50, right? The 50 is going above when a small one goes above a big one, that's a golden cross. Look at that golden cross right there. I'm seeing the 8, like again, I'm not smart enough to know the math, right? But I like that slope. That slope starting to take off and go right there, right? The 8 is going to move, what, 2.5 times faster than the 20, right? So in not that long from now, this thing's going to start sloping up too, right? You can see same, take off, same, probably take off right here, right? Again, I'm not here knowing the math. I'm just following the slopes, right? But I like it up here. I love it down here. My favorite part is we actually haven't broken the 50-day average of volume well just yet. okay? We've barely actually done it for most of the year, right? I'm literally zooming out. This is the beginning of the year. We've only had a couple sprinkles over the 50. I believe now that we're here, we're gonna start doing some good things. All right. So this has been my theory, and again, I said this yesterday. I really regretted not recording. I believe we're gonna go up over this 920. We're going to come back down to it, use it as a support, and take off. Same thing with the 50, same thing with the 200. It's going to be the same thing with this with this 930. This thing was a resistance. It was a resistance. We got over it. We don't confirm. It was a resistance. We get over it. Not really great confirmations. Resistance, resistance, a lot of nothing. This is as big as that 50 and the 200 were down here. I think we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to get over it. We're going to come back down. We're going to take off. We're going to get over it, where it's going to take us up to like the 80s. We're going to come back down. That's going to give us a nice little healthy, and we're going to boom, right? It's echoed on the weekly as well. You can see the little sprinkle of the 200 moving average. It's right there, just a little bit over 10. I think we're going to go up to it. I think we're going to come down to it. I think we're going to blast off from there. I am loving SOFI. I am, and it's fun. You know, I'm not here to say like, yo, I called it and this and that, because believe me, I get so many more wrong than I get right. Go back to this July video on SOFI. That doji right there is what made me start to become positive after literally 6 months of bashing on this stock. And it's not like I'm bashing it because of an emotional reason, right? The lines just kept telling me it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. I sincerely believed in that doji. This little moment was nothing more than copying the S&P 500, right? There was that scary little thing. It happened right there. It happened on QQQ, which is NASDAQ, right? So like that wasn't SOFI. If that didn't happen, we would have taken off. This would have happened sooner. It just, I believe that. I obviously don't have a crystal ball and know, but hey, SOFI, this thing's hungry on the daily. This thing's hungry on the weekly. 200 just formed. And if my go up, come down, go up is correct, I think it's new enough that we can do some good things against it. I'm liking SOFI, and one more time, SOFI likes to pretend to be a tech stock. Tech looks good on QQQ. In my head, it's nothing more than a brick and mortar bank. Dow Jones looks good. So hey, either way, SOFI is going to be nicely carried with the indices, all right? So I do like SOFI. The next two I want to look at are MSTR, MicroStrategy. Oh my gosh, look at that Friday. And NVDA, okay? Two things. Number one, both of these are 401k level stocks, all right? I don't know if you hold these on your personal side. For me, the way I do it is my 401k takes a lot of my paycheck every other week. My personal is where I do a little bit of my gambling and have some fun. You know what I mean? So NVIDIA is a significant portion of my 401k because I actually go in, I allocate my money. I'm not just holding it where they like automatically put me, right? MSTR, MicroStrategies, is on that level. This is a technology sector, software applications. When I go to NVIDIA, this is a technology sector. This one's more semiconductors, but again, I think I'm not going to pretend I know what MicroStrategy does, but they are, in my book, kind of the same level. If you know, throw it in the chat so I don't sound so dumb, okay? The one thing I love about the MSTR chart, we just did a forward split, all right? I love forward splits, okay? And we've broken the forward split line, let alone broken all five and are starting to fly, right? So I'm loving it. And just look at this thing bouncing on the 8 like a champion, right? I mean, this is a beautiful thing. Forward splits are the best. This thing's not at all-time highs. Again, I thought it was on yesterday's video, and I kind of sounded a little dumb. I got to go all the way to the weekly, and we got to look at I still couldn't get the year right. That's how far it is. The year is 2000. We are looking at a 24, almost 25-year resistance line. I don't think this is going to hold. I think we're going to destroy this 240. This is still a real healthy 67 RSI. It's been a while. This thing has gotten as high as the 90s before, and you can see it as you're looking across that line. We've peaked the 90s before. I think this is going to start ready to just live horizontally in those 70s and 80s. So I am really, really liking MS. Look, on the baseline, hey, we're over all 5 moving averages. Look at that beautiful little golden cross right there. Still a healthy 67, green over red on both. Lovely volume that's actually growing very healthy right there, right? On the daily, exact same words. That's a beautiful overall 5 moving averages. That's a nice MACD. This is starting to stay horizontal up here. And as I zoom out, that's actually not something MicroStrategies does. It goes up and then kind of comes down really quickly. So it's interesting to see this little like hold up here. Maybe that's new, maybe that's going to be something. And I think that's a positive thing right there, all right? When we look at NVIDIA, it's word for word the same thing. The only difference is this thing's actually knocking on the door of all-time highs, all right? You can see it, this line, it's actually not even perfect. I guess we can improve it just a little bit. All-time highs is clearly up here, right? This is my golden 135. You break 135, NVIDIA, there is nothing going to stop it. This red candle is no resistance, all right? So clearly, again, all-time highs is up here. There are no resistances over this 135. When I go to the weekly is arguably already there because the weekly line is down here at 132. The Friday is over, right? We're already in the weekend. This is a finished candle that actually closed over the weekly top green candle, right? So I am loving NVIDIA. There is a lot more to come for NVIDIA. MACD's not even green over red yet. That's about to flip and go. That's only a 53 on the RSI, and it wasn't that long ago that we were at 98.9 something, right? Like NVIDIA is not done. And again, one more time, look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ ain't done. NASDAQ, this is QQQ, which is exactly the same as NASDAQ. Let's just go to NASDAQ because I'm saying it. NASDAQ is about to smash all-time highs, in my opinion. I might be completely wrong. You know that, right? But if this smashes all-time highs, you gotta believe NVIDIA is going to be running well past its, right? So I am really, really liking MSTR and NVIDIA. By no means do I think it's on the level of SOFI, right? But again, I think SOFI is a decent mix of NVDA. No, I think I'm done with NVIDIA, actually. Okay, the last one I wanted to cover, and then again, from there, we'll go into... What time is it? All right, cool. The Charger game is on in a bit, so we got at least a bit more. None of the morning... I don't know if you guys watch football or girls watch football. None of those morning games are actually that good by now. AFRM. I like AFRM. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. I like AFRM. I mentioned it in the Discord, and I really loved right here. I love it when people disagree with me. And I'm not necessarily going to even say that this was a disagreement. Where is it? Okay. I like the fact that there was agreement, but a suggestion to wait. All right. And you're going to see why wait for another $5 actually makes sense. And I love the suggestion. All right. So what? Okay, number one, there was some news about our firm. Oh, I think it was on Friday. It might have even been what drove this candle. I think it was Wells Fargo that upgraded this thing. Believe me, I don't care about an analyst upgrade. All right, I'm looking at things at daily and weekly views. Right, I promise you, most analysts are looking at yearly. Right, maybe monthly, but I even doubt it. Maybe probably quarterly, yearly, if not 5 years onward. Right, so to me, when an analyst says, hey, upgrade, downgrade, believe me, I'm going to make money in between those moments, right? So I don't care about that. I like a firm because as I zoom out, woo, green, 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 little horizontal. Green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, red, red. We're at that line. And man, if this thing can get, I'm going to say it one more time. If this thing can get over 50-50, oof, I think it's going to be a fast run to 65. That right there is a 30% move, right? You're adding 555, every $5 is 10%, right? So you're adding a little more than 15 right there, right? I like the fact though that the comment was wait another $5. Let it break that December high. That December high is essentially where my line is. To me, I'm actually more interested in this essentially IPO drop point, right? Because I'm going to zoom in right here. Dun, 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 dun. Again, this is going to be an important line right here, but there's no way I'm thinking about $110 on a $47 stock, right? Like that's just ridiculously silly. So I'm going to ignore this little moment right here. As we start to drop, okay, that's the first good green can. Let me zoom in a little better. I do things so zoomed out, and I know it bugs a lot of people, and I do apologize. All right. Again, we're ignoring this because it's way too high up. You cannot be thinking over $100 on a sub 50, right? So ignoring this, I don't even think these are good. I still agree. This is the first good green candle. From there, that's kind of the last good green candle in the downtrend before we take off and go. That's why I think that's a good line. Personally, I probably could even lower it to whatever this thing opened at. You can see the open, it was actually at 49.38. Let's do that real quick. No, let's leave 50.50. I think that's a good random number right there. So, I mean, a good whole number right there. So if we can break 50-50, this is literally the view. It's red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 and then basically 2 years, 2 full years from 22 all the way to basically the end of 24, we've been well under the 50-50 line. So to me, this is worth the eyes to say the least, all right? MACD never dropped to the negative. It held, and it now kind of looks like green wants to go over red. That's a beautiful divergence right there. Wasn't actually that long ago that we were in the 90s, so hey, 50 is nice. When we look at the weekly, it's basically the same story, all right? Number one, look at this thing. Sorry, look in the box. There is no 200 moving average. This thing is over all the moving averages on the weekly. We got a positive MACD with green over red. We got a real healthy 65, and I think at the baseline, I always call Friday a loser day. This was not a loser Friday candle. That's a beautiful double-digit day, right? So, yeah, I like AFRM. I think this is well worth your eyes. There we go. Yeah, so these were the main ones I wanted to cover. There were a couple that in the chat that I'm actually not even familiar with, so they'll be real fresh. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover real quick. Let me write the time. How long have I been talking for? Oh man, I gotta figure out how to do that. Oh, it's right there. Look at that, 22:10. All right, cool, 22:10. Okay, let's get into. All right, what was that first one? FREY. I don't know FREY. Oh, yo. Okay. FREY is definitely a must watch come tomorrow. What am I looking at? I hope you see it before I do, right? Look, it is not easy to get over the 8 and the 20. By no means do I believe we're going to get over the 8 and the 20 just yet. But there are things that are kind of telling me, hey, it might, and that might be good enough for me to look at this thing on Monday, right? Look, at the dead bare minimum, we're actually over it, right? The high of the day was 102. The close of the day was 102. Beautiful candle. I wish there were more decimals because you can see it actually says that the average 20 is at 102, but hey, I see a little bit of black between the top of the candle and the moving average. So this thing did it. The one thing I'll say, it began the week actually over it and then failed after, right? So nothing's guaranteed just yet, but I like the setup right here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Look, this is an all-time lows, okay? You know I do not like a stock that's an all-time lows. Oops, excuse me, let alone under all 5, let alone under the 8 and the 20, right? I think there's reason to believe it could make a move to 113. That's a decent 10%. I like the fact that if you can break 113, there's a real nice channel up with a lot of red, 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 green, and hopefully green, green, green behind it. I would probably draw my line right here, right? Maybe even right here. I guess that's kind of close to half of this thing and the bottom of this. I'm not going to draw the 122 because I do think that the 50 moving average probably matters a lot more. I can see us maybe going up to 122, back down to the line, and then hopefully it's the line that takes it, right? FREY is worth your eyes on Monday. Believe me, if we touch 99, 98 cents, it's game over. You're in all-time lows. That is what I call a black hole vortex for a reason, right? I saw the comment that maybe there's like sorry, let me go back and read it. Global warming effects and this and that. People are going to need some like EVs and batteries and this and that. Also, hey, when it comes to like just major news events and all that's going on in like Florida and stuff, I could see the thought that, you know, battery supplies and this and that's going to be important. I think being under all the moving averages and an all-time low supersedes all that. All right, so for me, the first goal is this 10% move. The next goal would actually be a 50% run if it came all the way to 150. I sincerely do not believe we're getting over 150. I don't think we're going to get over the 100, and then that 200 is a big, bad, scary line. And just, I mean, look at the thing. We've been significantly under it for a while, all right? I think this was a good call out, though, to say the least. I think that's well worth the eyes. I don't know this next one, XOS. Again, I see the same setup. I don't think I'm going to repeat myself, but look, I'm imagining we're in all-time lows, right? Yeah, we're in all-time lows. There was a reverse split, but I think it's fair to say that that was a while ago. This doesn't look as pretty against the 200 moving average. Personally, I think I would like FREY more than XOS. Again, get me over the 20, I'll believe we'll go here. Get me over here, and that's the real money line, right? Personally, I don't think I would touch XOS until $5. I think if we can, I actually would wait till that, 506. I think if we can get into that green candle, 505, 506, whatever your risk tolerance is, get me there, and I would love to add 20% all the way to almost 6. That's a good trade for me. I think this is a little scary and a little risky right there. GOEV, yo, I know that stock. Yeah, for sure. I know I know this one. Again, same setup, right? I got no problem with looking at a bunch of stocks with the same setup, right? You break this 20, that's a nicer channel up there. I think if you're looking at something like this, the nice thing to do is twofold, all right? Number one, who's got the better channel? Who's got the break this line, believe me, I'm going to go to this line, and has the nicer percentage there, right? This one's almost 30%, right? You're going almost from $1 to $1.30, right? Just simple math. They all got the red. They're all trying to get over the 8 and the 20. Again, I got no problem with different strategies. So many different strategies will win. For me, if you're going to do something like this, oh, you better break the line, or you better hit eject if you fail it. You know what I mean? No emotion in this thing, right? But yeah, same comment. Get over the 20. I think the money line will probably be $1.02. I like $1.02. If GOEV can get over $1.02, I think that'll be actually real nice. EVGO and RIVN. Maybe I'll do an EV sector after that because I also want to look at Polestar. Let's see. Are there any more? Okay. AVPT. AVPT. Oh, I like AVPT. I do. Okay, so before I look at the chart, all right, I like AVPT. I'm seeing that this is a technical sector. Again, I've said it. QQQ is over all 5 moving averages. QQQ makes me believe it's going to want to break all-time highs. QQQ looks like NASDAQ. SP500 is already at all-time highs. Already is making me think that this thing is hungry for more all-time highs. You know what I mean? So at the bare minimum, I like the fact that the indices look good. I have no idea what AVPT does. They do some sort of software infrastructure, whatever. Good. I love it. Tech looks good. This is over all 5 moving averages. MACD looks like it is resetting. Looks like we're about to go up. It wasn't that long ago that the RSI was at least in the 80s. Seems to not get over the 80s well. When was this? That was a little long ago. I will say this, look at the volume down here, especially during this uptrend run. Volume has not gone crazy, but I'm seeing that white line go from living down here to living up here, and that's big. We're not quite at a million average, but I think we're not that far from this thing. Where are we on the weekly right now? Look at this thing. Oh man, I think we covered this one on the last one, and I think I remember saying I like this one, and I think it's doing well. It looks like it broke this line. That was my IPO line. Green, 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 red, red, red. Are we here yet? Are we here yet? Oh man, we're here. We're at the top of this peak and at 50% candle right here. 75 is a little high RSI, but we've been higher. I think this is going to come up to 1420. I think we're going to fail 1420, but I do not think we're going to go under 1240. Clearly, it needs to go up. I need confirmation, right? But in my head, I'm seeing this resistance about to become support, and I actually don't even think it's that hard a resistance. So, oh man, I think I regret not doing something on this one. I remember saying I like this one. When I saw this line, I knew I covered it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. OUST. Let's go look at OUST. Ooh, I know OUST. I think OUST, you can almost call it an EV one. I'm going to chapter this right here. How long have I been talking for? 30 minutes. Okay, cool. That's a good little place. So I'm going to do some EV stuff. I'll start with OUST, and then I'll work my way through the rest. So Ouster, if I'm not mistaken, this is a LiDAR stock. If it's not, right? Like I think this thing does the eyes and the brain of the EV movement. Oh man, look at this thing. So those first stocks that I covered, this did what we wanted those other ones to do, right? I'm going to come back to OUST, but what were those first two? It was XOS. You can see this thing wants to get over the 8 and the 20. What was that other one? Canoe, GOEV. It wants to get over those two. And then even the first one, yeah, FREY. It wants to get over these two. OUST has at least done it. And I think to me, because right, like those other ones were essentially right here, right? And you need that point that makes you believe the lines are your friend. Now, what's happening here is the 50 moving average, right? And we've made the first channel move. Are we going to make the next ones? The question, look, in my head, I think things are set up well for it to happen. Okay, I do believe, again, with the NASDAQ looking well, this is a technology sector stock with S&P 500 doing well. I think we got a shot. I don't like how much we just went up and then lost that 50 moving average like a hot knife through butter, right? Actually happened again right there. Man, that 50 is not a friendly line on this stock. I think I still believe we're going to get over the 50. I do. I don't see much. Okay, hold on. Let's draw some lines. I want to move you right here. That's not high enough. I want to move you right here. 50%. Okay. 750. No. Okay, you got a little bit going on right there as well. 750. Okay, let me go to the weekly real quick, and then and then you got that right there. I think we'll make a move to 8. I think that's my thoughts right here. I think there's still another 10% gain to be had. I do not believe we're going to get over that little cluster right there. And that's basically at 8 right there. That's at 830. That's probably at 8 right there. Yeah. I think we go to, okay, that's my thoughts on OUST. I think we're going to get over the 50 moving average like we've done in the past, right? We have an ability to get over it pretty smoothly. I think we're going to get over it. I think we're going to get to the 8s. I think we're going to come back down, and that's going to be the pivotal point. Like, we can't hot knife through butter. We got to go up, come down, go up. Oh, no. Shit. Oh, and I cursed too. Sorry, I hate cursing. Where was that line? Was it around there at 850? Did we draw it off the weekly? No, we drew it off the daily, I think, right? Yeah, it was right there. Off the bottom of that, top of that, and that should be around 50% of that other big one, right? Yeah, 50% of that big one. Cool, 850. That's my thoughts right there on OUST. Nice. Target is Okay, lovely. Hey, hell yeah, that's the move. That's exactly what I said. And again, it goes back to it was the original setup as those first ones. I love the 8. Oh man, 640 is a beautiful and you know I'm not here to say buy, sell, hold. 640 was basically 50% of this big candle right there, right? I'm roughly clicking 643 and you know I'm never here for perfect. So you break 50% of the big candle to the left, you get over the 8 and the 20. Oh man, I gotta believe there. You heard me struggle a little bit with that. Like most other setups, I would say we're gonna fail the 50. We're gonna come back down to 690 and go again. I just really like the setup. Oh man, I grew up watching South Park and I curse like a sailor and I do my best to not do it on these videos. You never know who's watching, you know what I mean? So OUST was the first of the EVs. There was another one on the top. All right, EVGO and RIVN are next. EVGO. EVGO. Yo, look at this thing. Get out of here. Look at my lines doing pretty well. Oh, there has to be a story here. Oh man, I got too many lines. Look at this thing. Okay, but hey, there. Okay, I'm angry looking at this thing, looking at how good my lines were, and not trading this thing. It's why I was silent right there. Let's take emotion out of this thing. First off, it starts in July. You break all 5 and you fly. That is a trademarked very soon, one day maybe, but that is a catchphrase for a reason. Look, horizontal is not a good thing, but EVGO is a parabolic monster. Like EVGO goes up and down, 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 up and down. So like the fact that it actually was able to hold horizontally, in my book, that's actually a little bit of strength right there. You know what I mean? So I often say if a stock's going to go horizontal, you might as well put it in the bank. It's going to be less gray hairs, right? But yeah, for it to go just wildly parabolic to this ain't that bad. At the bare bone minimum, we were holding the 8 and the 20 like a champion, right? A little bit of a scare, but hey, the 50 does well, right? I gotta believe there was some news right there, man. There's like a big candle after a doji is one thing, but yeah, there had to have been some news. I told you I've been kind of going through a little bit of a rough thing on my side, right? So I haven't been like looking at much. So maybe it was a partnership, maybe it was earnings. I got no idea. This thing looks nice, okay? Yeah, look at that volume spike. There was something that happened right here. Look, I like these lines, okay? As long as we're over the 8 moving average, the next place I think we're going is my next line up is 855. Yeah, look at this thing, right? Horizontal right there, green, red, 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 green. Like 855 is the next place EVGO wants to go. Where's your weekly? Do you got the gas for it? Oh, and look at that. We just formed the 200. Very, very, very interesting doji here. Oh man, I wish I knew what the news was. I think this is that same ouster kind of 50-50 here. Oh man. Ah, I think this one's coming to 640. I like the ouster weekly daily setup a little bit more. And I'm not calling it a pump and dump because I sincerely don't know what caused this volume. I don't like how big we spiked and how quick we came down. Now, you can argue that's not bad, but I think I'm assuming next week's coming to 40 million and that's going to bring us down. I don't think we're going to go under 550. This thing is 100% bullish even if it comes down all the way to 550. The problem is if you come from 7 to 550, that's a little bit on the scary side. If we break this 200 moving, where are you? I'm going to raise this line to there. And then I'm going to go to the daily and see if I can find a nice candle off of that one. Damn, there's so many lines, but it's this one. Oh, right there. I like our line. I like the placement. Right here. 755. I don't know if that was my original line or not, but between 755 and 760, you break that and there's not going to be a lot stopping it, because then your weekly looks great, your daily looks great, indices look great. I think I kind of need to call this a pump and dump volume wise. I just don't know what the news is. I'll be honest with you. I'm probably going to do a little digging on EVGO after I'm done with this video. So cool. That's the 1, 2 right there. RIVN is going to be the third one. RIVN, okay, again, I baseline don't like this, right? I actually think I got to delete these lines and draw some new ones. Yeah, there's too many up there. We'll draw some new ones down here. Baseline, you know I don't like this. We are under all 5 moving averages. We are testing and testing and testing and testing and failing and failing and failing and failing the break of the 8, right? That said, you break the 8, there's a little bit of a movement all the way up to what, 1130? That's a little less than a 10% move right there. After that is where things can get nice, and really that's a decent, because right, I don't think I'm gonna keep this line, but let's just draw it real quick. Yeah, look at that, it's exactly at the moving average. If we were to break that line, green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 nothing, 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 red, 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 it could be an interesting move, potentially up to 1270. I'm not quite sure if this one's breaking this. That said, again, the indices are looking good, right? So maybe there's a little bit of juice that'll carry it, but yeah, let's see the weekly. Give me the, that's not a good weekly. Oh, okay. I actually don't think this one's gonna do it. I don't. And again, it's a little weird saying it as like the indices look good and this and that. I'm kind of like thinking as I'm saying these words. I think we're coming down to 950 here. Look, listen, just because the indices are good doesn't mean everything's going to do fantastic, right? So, oh man, we've been going to 40 minutes. Has the second round, games are about to start. Hey, I'm going to watch the games. Okay, there's a couple more I really wanted to cover. Just because the indices look good doesn't mean everything will look good, right? What does tend to happen is people enjoy the good ones and kind of forget the other ones, right? And I feel like there are better spots in the EV world right now, and I think that might take a little bit away from RIVN. So yeah, I'm not liking this one as much as the other ones actually. So let me come into Polestar, PSNY, and then I think there was another, no, there wasn't. Okay, cool. Polestar. Okay. Oof. Okay. So, a couple things are in my head right now. You hear me say it all the time. It is difficult to break individual lines up. It's difficult to break clusters of lines up. Just the same, it should be really hard to lose a cluster down. I don't like how easily we lost the cluster of the 8 and the 20 up here. Now, the 50 and the 200 are stronger lines, so hey, I think these should be stronger holds. But what I gotta do, Polestar. Okay, so why did I say, Polestar really hasn't proven to me that we've broken the 200 moving average, all right? Those are arguably the best 2 candles right there, but this candle breaks the 8 and never gets a confirmation behind it. So even though those 2 look good together, I'm sure I would have talked about it becoming a resistance to a support point, but look, this is all, look, let me say a couple other things. Friday is an interesting day. Friday is actually a good bad day. 100% it's a red day, but look in the box over there. This thing opens down here at 136 and then closes up here at 145. So it actually does go up, and it does go up on a bounce of the 200, right? So I would say as long as we don't go below 127, I think Polestar has a chance. But again, with my RIVN thoughts, right? I just feel like there are better tech plays, and that might end, because one thing I remember talking about I don't even know when I said it, but there was a moment where like AI was starting to fizzle. Let me just go back to NVIDIA real quick, NVDA. There was probably this point right here. maybe even this point, where AI was starting to do really badly from July to August. And then let's look at Tesla. From July to August, right? You can see there was this point where like there was a little bit of a shift. It seems like we're kind of back to the opposite of it, right? Polestar, it was looking real good. And I started the video by saying I really like NVIDIA. I really like what seems like the semiconductors, right? So maybe EV is about to take a little bit of a back seat, even though tech looks good, right? So this better not lose 127, because again, there are some really good places for your money in tech, right? So EV might stop becoming one of those, all right? So we looked at Polestar. Let me look at it on the weekly again, because I think, oh yeah, look at that. We're at a real dangerous spot right here. If we lose this, there's a quick fall all the way down to 1. That's a big drop. Red, 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 nothing. Green, 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 red, 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 down to the line. You know what I mean? So Polestar is scaring me actually just a little bit. So CELH. I do not know this one. CELH. What are you? Celsius. Celsius. What are we looking at? We're looking at an attempt at the 50 moving average. How have we done against it? Give me a sec. I want to see. Okay. So we've had a nice little bounce point on it right here. It was definitely a very... Oh, you got a forward split here. Yo, that alone, again, it was a while ago, but believe me, I see a forward split on any set of 3, 4, or 5 letters, and I give it a lot more credit already. You know what I mean? I obviously see that drop, and obviously it's easy to focus on that, but I promise you, because again, I'm looking at daily and weekly, like, that's nice. They made the move to make a forward split. I have no idea why Beverage Holdings. Dang, that's crazy. Like this is what lose all 5 and die looks like, right? Like goodness. I don't like Friday to Thursday. Okay, you'll often hear me say you need to hold at the bare minimum 50% of yesterday. You gotta believe you better hold at least some of yesterday, not come all the way down. And the Friday to Thursday, that obviously causes concern, right? Because also look at the 8 and the 20. Right? And the 20 especially, we've been under the 20 for a while, right? So I love the gap up. You know I see the gap up, and I'm not pretending I don't see it, but you got to confirm, right? We're not here to get excited off one candle. And hey, you can argue that's a real good back-to-back. That's the Wednesday was a near high of the day, right? Yeah, look at that, 2 cents off the high of the day, right? I barely saw the wick when I zoomed. But yeah, that's a good Wednesday, Thursday. But this kind of confirms that for sure. That takes away from that, and I gotta add a little bit of concern on the 50 moving average, right? Look, this can come all the we're a little below that. Can you... Okay, at this point it's the 20. This can come down to 31.90, we'll roughly call it, and I'll still be bullish, but I think my tolerance is very, very low. My tolerance is the open of this right here. It's 31.70. If we hit 31.70, I'm very scared because I have to believe that this is going to stay under all 5 moving averages, and damn, where are we to this? All right, we're basically here on that horizontal, little bit of a peak right there. It does look like that's a stronger point because, yeah, that's going to be a lot more of that. Oh, man. Okay, the line's 28.17. If you're gonna add a little bit extra to your risk tolerance, again, I would believe if we lost that 31.70, I think it's going to be a quick fall down to that 28. Roughly speaking, that's a 10% drop right there, right? So for next week, let's end it right here. What am I liking for next week? You know I am not here to say buy, sell, hold, all right? I'll end it right here. I'll chapter this as the next one, 47. I like AFRM, all right? I made a good chunk of the video on it. Take a look at AFRM. It's over all the daily. over all the moving averages on the daily. It's over all the moving averages on the weekly. There is no 200. MACD RSI looks real good. I've been talking about lithium. Lithium's actually still holding well. LAC, it looks like it's ready to take that 100. It looks like it's giving me reason to believe if you break the 100, you can go to the 200. Red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 nothing, nothing, nothing. Oof, that could be a nice move up there, right? So LAC definitely has my attention. LAAC, another lithium play, another one that's making me believe we've broken the 100, want to head up to the 200, right? AMLI actually is already over the 200, making its way on up. Look at all these golden crosses right there, right? So lithium has a good amount of my attention. I talked about a firm in the Discord. Okay, look, let's see what this one is. NXL. Oh, I remember there were a couple of them I liked here. Give me a second. What were my Okay. NUWE. Give me a sec. I said at least decent things here. This is a good one to look at. I don't know if it's going to do it, but we've seen this setup a couple times, right? It's gotten over the 8 and the 20. It's trying to get over the 8, the 50. You get over the 50, the hundreds all the way up here. Red, 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 red. Green, 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 right? So I think NUWE is worth eyes. But like I said, it needs to confirm that 50, but there's a lot of room, right? NXL, I'll wait. CCG, let's look at CCG. CCG is an interesting one, right? We made an attempt at the 200. We made a horrible fail. Sorry, at the 100, excuse me. If we can get over that 100, goodness gracious, look at that. Red, 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 red. Again, this one's not there. It's not ready, but hey, this ain't bad right there, right? Volume was pretty good. We got a gap up. I don't know if there was news or not, right? But that's CCG. And I think there was another one that I actually like. SGXB is what I called another one. Dyslexic. SGBX. Last one here. Look at this thing, right? This has kind of been the theme for a lot of the setups, right? This is an all-time lows for sure. This did a reverse split for sure. You know I don't like stocks like this, right? But that's a decently interesting doji. There were moments where it flew over the 50. There was obviously moments where it came all the way down to the 8. We held at least 50% candle. I think that alone makes this one worth it a little bit to me, right? So I like that first half a little more. These next ones are a little bit gamble. And let's be honest, there was a decent amount on the viewer requests after the 22-minute mark that had some similar setups, and I was actually really interested in, all right? So hey, this wasn't bad. I wasn't planning on doing 50 minutes. I for real did 39 minutes yesterday for nothing, but I think I figured out how to do this long term. So things are still a little rough on my side, but I'm obviously trying to get back to normal. I sincerely want to make this a regular thing, and I sincerely want to have schedules, and like we'll do a poll and stuff. I am working on getting hats and stickers, and believe me, I'm gonna give so many for free out. Like I would be honored if you took my hats and wore them and all that stuff, right? So things kind of took just like a little weird pause on my side, but yeah, trying to get back to it is the goal here. Yo, I appreciate you all so much. I sincerely appreciate you, and I so sorry for yesterday. All right, so I'm now fumbling to figure out how to stop this thing. End stream? Are you sure you want to stop? Yeah, end. Cool. Cool. Okay.